All right, let's call to order the Lake Mills City Council meeting for October 19th, 2021. Can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Curler?
Here.
Mr. Waters?
Here?
Mrs. Bishop?
Here.
Ms. Quidno?
Here.
Mr. Fields?
Here.
Thank you.
All right, I'm playing with some settings real quick on my computer. That should be better. All right. If everyone can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next thing on the agenda is correction and approval of the City Council minutes of October 5th, 2021. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the City Council minutes from October 5th of 2021.
I second.
Okay, a motion by Ms. Curler and a second by Ms. Quidnow. Is there any discussions or questions? Seeing none, let's just do a raise of hands. All those in favor of the motion? All 5-0. Let's move on to correspondence. Ms. Curler, any correspondence?
Yes, I just received one email correspondence that I think all the council members received from Susan Trier from the Joint Rock Lake Committee with a follow-up on the tour and recommendations about beach monitoring.
Mr. Fields?
I received the same email. That's the only correspondence I received.
All right. I also had a email on the questioning the agenda question related to city building usage, which we will actually be addressing at our next meeting. So, Ms. Quidnow?
I only received communication regarding the increase of amount of housing that we have in our city and how that's affecting taxes. Other than that, nothing.
All right, Mrs. Bishop.
Yes, I also had a communication about the community center use policy, and I had communication about the Cedars as well.
About the Cedars?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Moving forward, this is the question and public comment. Seeing nobody in the chamber or nobody online, we'll move past that and go directly to the city manager's report.
You were provided with the general fund check register, the general fund voucher summary, the utility check register, the utility fund voucher, and the September police report. Are there any questions?
Yes, Ms. Curler.
I just had one question. Sorry, I just had one question regarding a large payment. Maybe Betsy can answer it. It's check number 44875 was for a little over $17,000 to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. And I just wanted to understand or have the council understand what that payment was for.
That was Wisconsin Department of Transportation, the project they did on Mulberry Street. And so we needed to pay for the portion that was not funded by the state and federal government for that project.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Wilkie. Moving to item 8, council members board report and acceptance of minutes from Public Works Board of September 14th, 2021, and library board minutes of June 21st, 2021, July 19th, 2021, and August 16th of 2021. Any questions on any of those meetings? All right, seeing none, I will accept those into our meeting minutes. All right.
Mr. Waters?
Yes.
I just wanted to highlight regarding the library board minutes, you'll note some discussion regarding doing a community survey about the potential for an expansion. So I know you've heard about that before, and so that is moving forward. The survey.
Do you know when that survey will get out in the community?
We just discussed again yesterday. I don't know exactly when it will be released, but definitely this fall.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Moving to council business. Item A, discuss decision on ratification of WPPA police union contract. So there's a motion 21-10-2-1. Misty, can you read that? Or actually I should accept a motion for that.
I move to approve motion 21-10-2-1, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement between the City of Lake Mills and the Wisconsin Professional Police Association.
A second.
So motion by Mrs. Bishop and a second by Mr. Fields. Misty, can you read the motion?
City Council Motion 21-10-2-1, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement between the City of Lake Mills and the Wisconsin Professional Police Association.
All right. Any comment from staff on this?
It's consistent with what was budgeted. So the wages increases are consistent. It's a 2-year contract. So it's 2.5% and 1.5% with a 0.5% kicker at the end of the year. There were some additional monies given for field training officers and uniform allowance, and then some changes to the community service officer's schedule and some minor adjustments to a memorandum of understanding on the K-9. So are there any questions on any of that?
Ms. Curler?
I had 2 questions. One is there's in the reference regarding the community service officer and their schedule shifting, there's a term saying that they'll earn a Kelly day. What is a Kelly day?
Kelly days are days that you earn instead of like vacation or holidays, and they get to use them as they want. So the typical schedule for a police officer is about 2,008 hours. And if they work the regular 40-hour week that they're scheduled, they'll work more hours. So then they earn a Kelly day in return that they can use somewhere.
Okay, that sounds like I've heard the term compensatory time. It would be kind of similar to that. So it's hours they can use at some other time. Okay. And my other question was, I'm just trying to understand the process. What is the role of the Police and Fire Commission in these kind of contract negotiations? I didn't see them mentioned.
They have none.
Okay.
They only have hiring and firing responsibilities. They don't have any management obligations.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? All right, seeing none, let's move forward with a vote on motion 21-10-2-1. Roll call, please.
Mr. Waters?
Aye.
Mrs. Bishop?
Aye.
Ms. Quidno?
Aye.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Ms. Curler?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Thank you. Item B, discussion decision on accepting John's Waste Disposal Incorporated proposal. So that's motion 21-10-2-2. Is there a motion there?
I'll make a motion to approve motion 21-10-2-2, authorizing the city clerk to notify John's Disposal that the price increase meets the contract requirements.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Curler, second by Mrs. Bishop. Misty, can you read that motion?
City Council Motion 21-10-2-2, authorizing the city clerk to notify John's Disposal that the price increase for 2022 has been reviewed and meets the requirements of the contract.
Thank you. Any comment from city staff?
It was pretty much decided by the contract. The one note is that it will impact the rates that we're going to be charging, so they'll be adjusted probably sometime in December. And you did have the option of eliminating the weekly pickup and going back to the bi-monthly pickup, but at this point that wouldn't be any part of the discussion.
Is there any questions? All right, seeing none, let's move forward with the roll call vote.
Mrs. Bishop?
Aye.
Ms. Quidnow?
Aye.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Ms. Curler?
Aye.
Mr. Waters?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Thank you. All right, item C, city manager's appointment of a city residence to the Police and Fire Commission. Mr. Lor Vang. And I guess we need a motion for this, right?
Yes.
And then we can go into discussion. Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to confirm the city manager's appointment of Laura Vang to the Police and Fire Commission.
I'll second.
So motion by Ms. Curler, second by Mr. Fields. Let's move into discussion from, or actually, city staff. Do you have any feedback on this?
No, I haven't had any. It looks like a very high quality appointment to me. Was a community service officer or community outreach officer in Madison. Did a lot of public work. Has now moved to the DNR, and looks like a very good appointment in my opinion.
All right. Any questions or comment? All right. Seeing none, can we move to a roll call?
Ms. Quidnow?
Aye.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Ms. Curler?
Aye.
Mr. Waters?
Aye.
Mrs. Bishop?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
All right. Thank you. Item D is a third reading of Ordinance 1227, which amends the ward boundaries and council districts. Why don't we go through the reading, and then since this is the third reading, we'll need a motion after that to go to a vote. So Misty, can you do the third reading?
Ordinance 1227A, amending ward boundaries and council districts, City of Lake Mills, Wisconsin.
Short and simple. Thank you. All right. Is there a motion?
I move to adopt the amendment of the ward boundaries and council districts for the city of Lake Mills.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Quidnow, second by Mr. Fields.
Mr. Waters?
Yes.
Point of information, are we voting on 1227 or 1227A? Do we have to amend 1227? I'm a little unclear on which one we're voting on.
Scribners.
It would be 1227A.
It's less than a second.
Is there any questions or any feedback from the staff on that?
Well, Misty did read 1227A. The changes that were made from 1227 were in some's opinion, Scrivener's errors. They were points of clarification. The two changes were highlighted on document 1227A that was presented to you in your packet. For clarity, I think that it'd be appropriate to make a motion to adopt 1227A as opposed to 1227, as that is staff's recommendation, and the changes have been made and they're appropriate in my opinion.
Ms. Quidnow, do you want to amend your motion?
I will amend my motion, to adopt ordinance 1227A, amending the ward boundaries and council districts of the city of Lake Mills.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, so the amended motion by Ms. Quidnow and a second by Mr. Fields. We're open for discussion at this point. Any further discussion or questions?
Mr. Waters?
Yep.
I just had a question for staff regarding the ward map. It looks like the west boundary of Ward 3 kind of extends out into the lake and actually goes beyond part of Ward 8 into the lake, but the text of the ordinance reads that it's the boundary of Rock Lake, the west boundary is Rock Lake. So I just thought perhaps that map should be corrected to show that boundary right along Rock Lake rather than into the water.
That's not significant in this case.
Okay.
It would be difficult to be able to map that in the way that they're doing it. They're using the old US slot from the county, and the county provided the map for us. We just made it more accurate by the description, so it's not a significant issue.
I was wondering because there's a few places where the map, the boundaries, like they look like they don't quite line up with some of the underlying layers, so there's just differences in the mapping software. Okay, thank you.
And I'd also like to add, I don't believe this map is final. We'll receive a higher quality map when this entire process is done.
Is there any other questions? All right, can we move to a roll call vote?
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Ms. Curler?
Aye.
Mr. Waters?
Aye.
Mrs. Bishop?
Aye.
Ms. Quidnow?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
All right, thank you. The next item is a second reading of Ordinance 1228, which is the 2022 General Fund Budget. Misty, can you do the second reading?
Ordinance 1228, 2022 General Government Budget and Tax Levy Ordinance.
All right, thank you. Is there any questions or any discussion on this topic? It won't go to motion until the next meeting, but if there's any questions, we can address those now. All right, seeing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the second reading of Ordinance 1229, which is the 2022 capital budget. Misty, can you do the second reading?
Ordinance 1229, 2022 Capital Budget.
All right, again, we won't go to a motion on this until the next meeting, which will be our third reading of this ordinance. Is there any discussion or questions on this topic? All right, seeing none, we'll move to recommendations for future agendas. Any discussion there? Yes, Mrs. Bishop.
I think you mentioned it, but the community use policy and that application, are we going to review that next week or at the next meeting?
At the next meeting, yes.
Okay, that was my only recommendation. Thank you.
Okay. Any others? Ms. Curler.
I wondered if we should have a discussion about the beach monitoring recommendations and protocol changes that the Joint Rock Lake Committee has suggested for us.
All right. Would you like to bring that before the council then?
Sure. Well, I wondered if we're going to have a discussion, perhaps we would want to have someone from the Joint Rock Lake come. They offered to do that, to explain exactly what changes they think that we should be making in our protocol.
Okay.
And then we can decide if we want to move forward with that. Then I guess we would have a decision item at a future time. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
Anything else? Anything from staff?
Well, you'll have your final budgets on that night. So if there's any changes or anything, we need to finalize those. And then you have the executive session too. So those will be on there.
So in the next week, we should be doing our final push on the budget and give you feedback on that. All right. Great. All right, the next thing is we're actually going to move into closed session. So we're going to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, Section 1C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction. So we're going to move into a closed session, and I'll take a motion for that. And after that happens, we will reconvene after that, but we will not come back on camera, and we'll adjourn from that meeting after we reconvene. So can I have a motion to move into closed session?
I'll make a motion that we move into closed session for the purposes just stated.
Second.
So motion by Ms. Curler, second by Mrs. Bishop. All those in favor, please raise your hand. It's a 5-0. And we move into closed session. Thank you.